Just getting everything in order, getting the recorder to go. Come on, recorder. Go. So welcome. Yes, you're not imagining things, you're not dreaming. Yes, you see the three of us and not four of us this evening, as unfortunately things do happen. And it's just the three of us tonight as opposed to the four astrologers. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna just go and make sure we are streaming. So I'm gonna have Kitty kick off and introduce herself, and then Patricia's gonna do the same, and then they'll follow up with me.
Well, you are live on your platform because I've already shared it out. So,
Perfect. Thank you.
um, I am Kitty Buto Foss, storyteller, astrologist, reader of the stars. I am excited about this. It was fun. We had an opportunity to sit with other astrologers. And this is such an interesting astrological journey we are on. It's always interesting, but this in particular, this section of time, is very, very interesting to be taking a look at and having the opportunity to discuss. And tonight's topic is unusual. So, and Patricia,
Yeah, hi.
hi.
I'm Patricia. I'm a semi-retired astrologer. I just gave up my YouTube channel. However, I am also a writer, animal communicator. I've been working with astrology clients since about 2012. So kind of been in the thick of it. And I think now is the thickest it's ever been as far as planetary transits. So,
Yeah, I like to say this is an astronomically unusual astrological time. Just the actual probability that these transitions and things would be happening over, the lifespan of how planets move, this very narrow window of time is astronomically, we have a better shot at winning the lottery. But basically, when you start doing the calculations of how these things have happened. So,
All right, so we are all live where we need to be. I have called in a few people so they can come and share and watch. If you had not have had a chance to share out this, please do so because we know how this all works. The more we all share, place little comments. We'll actually feed off those comments as well, and this way here we can get this live flowing all over the place. So our topic for tonight is the return to the state of love and harmony between Gus and humans. And as I always do, I always save it for last to introduce myself for those of you who may not know who I am, which I find that always funny to say. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness NY. I'm your holistic certified personal trainer, holistic integrative teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. And just as I sit next to these two amazing astrologers, and we are missing our fourth, and we will definitely send her some love and light tonight as she's
our
got.
fourth who picked the topic. That's the
Yes,
funny part.
yes. It didn't happen. When we sit in this energy that we're sitting in, especially as I've been saying over and over again, with Virgo being our South Node energy, schedules and routines and managing our time is really the key. And then, of course, that Pisces energy of taking care of our health. I was just telling Kitty before we got on tonight that there may be a possibility that I may have to turn my screen off, just do some things that are going on with me today. And I had a little conversation with mom, so I'm hoping that things are just in a steady flow right now. We're gonna see how this goes. So, Kitty, you want to kick off the conversation for tonight regarding you and I, or mostly you, who came up with this new title?
Well, the original title was A Time of Atonement. And one of the things that is my own personal part of this journey. I am the same axis that have our North and South node in, only I am reversed. I am a Virgo North node and a Pisces South node. And as one author wrote, I love this, wrote, for those who are a Pisces North node, yeehaw! That was their explanation of it. And this is an axis of alignment and healing. Now, one of the things that I am coming to terms with is terms. And what do they mean? as we left this Libra South node, where we really looked at the beliefs we thought brought us balance and we thought were our values and restarted our beliefs to more align with who we are as we remember who we are now with this Virgo South node looking at those things we have guilt around or we have thought aren't enough in our patterns that were related to those beliefs we are now aware of that are not ours. And so mine, then I go to talk about the language. Our original title was A Time of Atonement. And I said to Joanne, atonement to me means I've done something that I have to correct. And so we started looking up definitions of atonement. And that's where that energy, that other title, comes away from atonement being, Yom Kippur is time of atonement, time of repair, time of, and again, it goes with that word healing for me. Something about the word healing is something has to be wrong, and I'm learning to move my archetype around this. It's about alignment, more and more alignment in remembering who we are. And it is about love. It's about a heart center. We're talking this age of Aquarian energy, which is this what this discussion is how do we find the balance? How do we find our vision in the collective and hold the space that is ours? And so that's one reason why we kind of move the word atonement into taking a look at this thing for love. And Gus, by the way, stands for God. And for me, God is male and female. I know some people need goddess, but to me, God is male and female. It's neutral. God, universe, source, spirit, hence the word Gus. And so just looking at how do we balance and get ready for this movement into an age where we've never been before. I loved Patricia when you said this, even with all of the things that have happened, including 2020, this particular little window of time is wow. It's wonder, awe, and wisdom coming forth. And very important that as we look at our relationships, we do find balance. We've got Mars right now, who's come out of our authority position, self authority in Leo, and now moved to Cancer. I natively have Mars in Cancer. And so I understand its pivotal nature. It's always about what do I nurture? Mars in Cancer is a little confused. It's kind of like a kid. What do I align my will with? How do I work with being this warrior stance and starting something and at the same time nurturing? And my Mars, by the way, is in the seventh house. So it is about relationship and balance and in that understanding of Libra. And so it's such an amazing, incredible, mysterious time that we are unraveling. And how do we have, I've used the story with many people I've done talked to about this. We went to sleep in one country and we've woken up in another. So I'm still me. My rules of how I've done things are still me, but I am interacting in a completely different way and having to figure that out. So it is like having a new job, being in a new country, in a new home, in a new city. How do I find the balance, keep that pivot going? So that's how we got to this topic.
Yeah.
And
Patricia, what are your insights? What are your thoughts?
Well, the Aquarius age is probably like the weirdest. I mean, actually, the last couple years have been, I wouldn't say smooth, but they've been pretty normal as far as the way that we live our lives. And then all of a sudden, January came and everything has just completely, it's like upside down and sideways, like all the things that are happening. I mean, I'm on the West Coast. I'm pretty far from California, but we're still affected by it because you know how everything's connected and we're all on that Cascadia fault. And so I feel probably more empathic than I felt before. And I think with that Pisces North Node, especially because it's, eventually going to hit my moon and my Saturn, and I'll be a long ways from now. I'll be like almost 18 months, but But still, I can feel it. And also that Mars in Cancer. I'm definitely feeling that. I have a Cancer Sun, Cancer Mercury. So,
No, it's an interesting feeling because it's a pivotal energy, trying to figure out what do I do? And that
mhm.
keeps what is already unsteady. I mean, it really has started even in this fall with this Aquarian fully headed
Mhm.
after it went back over 29 degrees. And in this 6 months, we're going over 0 and 29 like nobody's business with five different bigger energy planets. So all
Yeah.
by itself, that's huge, let alone
Mhm.
five of them doing that, playing that, other than Pluto. But Pluto's going to be sitting at 0 for quite a while. So,
Mhm. Does it get to like 2 degrees this year, or is it 3 degrees of Aquarius?
I know I have my ephemeris right here. Um, I think it ends at 2, but
Okay.
almost at 3.
So
But
as
that's
Kitty's
really
looking,
quite slow moving.
yeah,
So,
as Kitty's
Yeah,
looking
well,
that up,
20 years in Aquarius. So, yeah.
yeah. Yes, yes. And I'm gonna piggyback on what
Pluto just gets to 2 in December.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
And that's
halfway
after
through
the
December.
retrograde.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, so it's going to sit, it's as they're going back and forth, we've got this big old 0 sitting here for quite a long, long time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And Aries at 0 for Saturn and Neptune. And then Mars will go back to 0 degrees Leo, but that's, he'll have to go back to that shadow. And Jupiter will switch signs, but it does every year. So it's not really a big deal. But then Uranus is going to be at 0 degrees Gemini. So
yeah,
I'm a little concerned about that one, but yeah.
it's Jupiter will be till, well, it'll keep going back. It'll dip back into Gemini and then it will move forward again. And Jupiter is she's still got a year in this, and she's in a real interesting, thank God she's in Cancer during
Yeah.
this shift. She is in
Yeah.
a position of peace. She's in the position when the League of Nations was created, when the United Nations was created. She's in
Hmm.
a very gregarious, she's very happy, exalted in this. We need something exalted in in these energies that are moving through. So, you know.
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm
definitely.
gonna piggyback on what Patricia was saying before regarding the energies that we're in, um, as we do sit in the age of Aquarius, reminding ourselves that with the age of Aquarius and of course all this other energy we have going on, the excuse me, Virgo South Node, being mindful of
Mhm.
taking rest periods, putting it on your calendar. If you're not somebody that is used to literally shutting yourself down and taking a nap, this is the time to do that. So this way here, because as we do
Mhm.
move into these other planets getting ready to do their shifts, this is really preparing us for something different. And we are shedding. We are literally shedding layers of
Mhm.
that, layers of ourselves. And if we do not take these rest periods on our own will, the universe is going to step in
Mhm.
and literally knock you down so you can rest. So I don't know about you guys, but I myself rather take it by choice than have the universe step in and kick me down, because when the universe kicks us down, it's not going to be comfortable. Whereas right now we have the ability, we have the choice to say, you know what, I'm going to just shut down for an hour. I give myself some time to rest, or take a day. If you're in a habit like me, constantly go 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 go, take a full day where you're not, and Kitty laughs, where you're not necessarily in the constant flow of doing. I mean, you can do things, just do the unordinary things, like your restful day, your playful day, your calm day, not your work day. And I,
Mhm.
and I can definitely feel this energy, because just as Patricia's talking about her Cancer energy, I have my Cancer rising sign, 12th and first house. So I'm definitely feeling this. And
Mhm.
I have both Venus and my North Node and my Sun in Pisces in my ninth house. So I'm really being charged up. And I was saying to Kitty last night and even a few nights ago that I've been so looking forward to this transit of these returns and like, oh my God, I'm super excited. Somebody forgot to send me the memo of what this really means, of this transit and shedding and this frequency upgrade, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you guys are
Well,
not aware of. I'm sharing with Kitty. Kitty's very much aware of what's going on behind the scenes for me, but
well,
I have
and
to keep my composure.
Patricia, are you a Pluto and Virgo as well?
Yeah, I have Pluto at what, 11 degrees, Virgo, and Uranus at 6 degrees.
So in this is the only home house that Pluto in its transit, this whole transit goes across Virgo. So there's an energy for Virgo energy that also has Pluto connected to it in the sixth house of service. So this particular access during this particular time is incredibly strong of how do we in that Pluto south node, how do we realize the places we don't think we're enough. This is about connecting
Mm,
in that Aquarian energy, that heart energy.
yeah.
And, in this whole idea of grounding, getting rest, you know how we talk about grounding and then we would meditate so that we could be kind of aligned with spirit? This is more grounding like this.
Like we have to really settle down into the
Like,
earth.
because there's a lot going on here, and
Hmm.
equally important is this Pisces energy that is working with it. It's just, it's not right in front of us. So the grounding is to keep us um, from literally imploding because it's
Right.
just, we need to be able to absorb and take the time to absorb. And it's very frustrating for people who've been in the spiritual world for a long time because they're going
Hmm.
at it the same way. And again, we're in a new
Yeah.
country.
Right.
You're back into this deep uncovering, and it doesn't mean that you haven't done your work. You're just
Hmm.
now introduced at a new level. And
Mhm.
Hmm.
my word this year, acceptance. That is my
Yeah.
word of the year. Accepting that this is, when I feel the imploding, when I feel because this is Virgo's little patterns that we've associated and dealt with our
Hmm.
energy with being
Yeah.
released and changed and expanded and upgraded with deep imagination and compassion. It's not about rescuing, it's about you do you, boo, because I only have enough energy for me to do me right now. And that's how
Hmm.
we can hold. I liked what she did say about in the original title, um, so that we can lift the earth into this new vibration. If I can hold my own vibration and my
Hmm.
own, I collectively lift. And we are letting go of that answers are outside us. And that's one reason why we see some of our bigger structures imploding with themselves because they're still looking for this answer out here. And
Hmm.
it's source, it's Gus, God, universe, source, spirit. Come on, Gus. I'm Gus. I got Gus going on, So,
Right, right.
And Spirit wants me to add, going back to our Virgo South Node, what the Spirit is chanting in my ear is that many of us are going to feel more of the Virgo South Node than we are the Pisces North Node. And what Spirit is clarifying is the reason why is because Virgo is about the service and how we need to take better care of ourselves with our schedules. We're
Hmm.
we're working towards that higher consciousness of awareness of recognizing that even though Kitty's working on this word, and I say it so she can work on the word, the healing components of not that we're broken, that we need to be fixed, but the healing of when someone gets sick or someone has surgery or anything of that nature, healing is extremely important. And the process
Hmm.
behind the healing is what do we need so we can recover? And having a list of things. In fact, I just did a live about this the other day in regards to so many of us, at least in my community, trying to reshape their bodies, change their nutrition, and be mindful, especially if you are in this community of like you're changing your nutrition, you're trying to figure it all out. This may not be the time to really take on anything that's going to require an intense regimen of shifting the way you eat, because it may not go well for you in regards to this energy that we're moving into for right now. And I know that could be challenging for many people because, again, it really is about what does your rest and recovery practice look like? Because you are resting based on the energy of becoming this different version of you, and you're going to need that rest. You're going to be reviewing your whole schedule. How many hours a day do you really want to be? A term I don't really like, hustling and grinding. A 3D term, and many people use it. We're gonna hustle, why? Why do we need to hustle? We need to get into that space where we are more compassionate with ourselves and being more at an ease and grace of how we work. Because the more we can be more aligned with how we are working, how we are in our soul's purpose, the hustle and bustle goes out the window and we become more calm, more relaxed, and more open to working with people that we are aligned to work with. So you don't have to hustle. We don't have to sit there and spend hours and hours and hours a day trying to find our people. That's what this Aquarius energy is all about. Everyone's being aligned to their people. We just have to open our energies up for it, is to move into rest and recovery and really sit and evaluate what that practice looks like for you so you can recover. Because with this rest and recovery, we move into this massive rebirth over the next 18 months. And notice I said over the next 18 months. This is not something that in 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 9 months that we're going to see this massive shift. No, we have an 18-month process. And the first 7 months, as Kitty brought to our attention, we have 5 planets. 5 planets in 7 months that is going through, I'm going to use the word as Spirit is saying, a makeover. That's what they just said. It's a makeover. They're shifting. They're moving out of zodiac signs and moving into new zodiac signs. So as the planets are shifting, that's affecting us.
And these aren't the daily, because the daily planets shift all the time,
Exactly.
short periods of time.
These are the bigger plan. I like to
These
say
are the bigger
bigger plan.
themes and the energy that connects us to the daily work. So
Exactly.
this is a lot of two planets starting brand new cycles.
Yeah. And it's a
Mhm.
collective energy. So we're feeling it. So like right now, the three of us right here, because we're connected right now, we're feeling each other's energy. Like yesterday, Kitty and I were, I think we were on a live. I think we were doing a live or we were on a phone call. I don't remember which it was. And I was coughing and her throat started hurting her.
Hmm.
That's the connection we have right now, people. So, we have to be mindful of how many people we're connecting with in a day. Who are we connecting with? This is time to really
That's that's very
get,
important. Who are we connecting with?
yes, this is a time where we really need to start treasuring our company. Are you worthy of being in my company? Because I value me. And this is a big part of moving into this, I'm enough, I'm valuable, and I'm going to value the time I'm going to spend with the right person because I want to make sure that when I leave the conversation with that right person, I'm being lifted and I feel good. And this is how we're
Mhm.
going to determine whether or not we are hanging with the right people. Do we feel drained when we're done? Or do we feel uplifted and excited to want to do something new and fun? And again, rest, recovery. Write it out. Figure out what your practice is going to look like so you can prepare for that rebirth that's definitely coming in.
Trish, I have a question for you. Since you're,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, since you're an animal communicator, are you seeing this in the animals too?
I'm seeing, okay, here's what I see in the animals. One, they are already awakened. There's not any animal on this planet that hasn't awakened. They're waiting for us. And they are carrying our stress. They are carrying our burdens. They're carrying, like, when people are, the whole dualism that's playing out, and also the consumerism, which I think is on its way out with the Aquarius energy. But that consumerism where people treat a pet as if it's an object, and when they get tired of the pet, they just, dump the pet off at a shelter and that sort of thing. I think that part of my mission is to help people to bond with animals so they don't treat animals that way.
I'm looking over
Because
at my dog as you're talking because they've come
yeah,
in
yeah,
for the
they really
conversation here.
learn. We learn a
Yeah.
lot from them. They're bodhisattvas as far as I'm concerned. So I love
Say that
communicating
word
with them.
again. I've never heard.
Bodhisattvas from Buddhism. It's the they're like earth angels, they're the enlightened souls that come to the earth to help others awaken. So
Mhm.
they sort of sacrifice,
That,
you
I
know,
love
they
the term. I mean, I love the meaning of the term. I've just never heard it.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, but that's what they are. I mean, I don't care if it's a horse or a snake. And actually, it's the year of the snake. Speaking about shutting, I mean, we're moving into the year of the
You're a
snake.
snake, right?
Yeah.
And the snake is, the snake has been, what's the word I want? Today, word find has not been a friend for me. Um, uh, when somebody makes something evil that it's not, like what the church did to Mary Magdalene. They
hmm
demonized her.
Vilify,
They
vilify.
vilified. That's the word I want. The snake has been vilified as
Yeah, it's
the
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and the duality of all animals, as a Scorpio, the cobra is one of the
Right, right.
animals. And the cobra is the middle energy of Scorpio. Does it strike or does it not? That
Mhm.
is the that is the progression of Scorpion. And so yeah, it has been vilified. Thank you. Like I said, my word find today has been like, hey, describe it, and somebody give me the vocabulary word. So I was just curious because I know the birds are carrying messages constantly now.
Mhm.
Yet yesterday morning, or was that this morning? I don't know. A hawk, a red-tailed hawk,
Mhm.
came by, stopped. Basically, I'm like, oh, red-tailed hawk. We had
Mhm.
a when the in December when all of the well, we had galactics and drones. We had both heading going out there. The birds, I'm in Florida, were
Mhm.
amazing every morning. And they were different birds and they were calling and they were loud. And there was a full week of who's going to be here today talking to us. And there was one day where there were hawks, there were strikers, there were these ducks, and they were all the best way to describe it was screaming, calling, talking, you know. So I've been curious, and I knew I was going to see you. Like, what are they saying? I mean, I say thank you, I listen, and let
Mhm.
it. That's a big word for this year: acceptance and absorb. If I don't accept where I am and take the time to absorb, I will miss the energy that is shifting, and it will take me. I'll get it, but it will just take more work, more energy
Mhm.
to get there. So,
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about rest and what was it? Rest and restoration. I have Lyme disease, and I got it in 2022. So I went to Vermont and got sick in Vermont. And I've had nothing but rest and restoration since July when I came on a road trip back from Pennsylvania back to Washington State. And so I've had to cocoon myself. And I'm also Cancerian, so that cocooning is, going in the shell. And I've had to really protect my energy.
mhm.
And, sometimes that means taking a nap in the middle of the day. Sometimes it means just going for a walk. Sometimes it means, so I've had to pull away, which is why not doing I'm not uploading any new astrology videos because I just got to this one day where my brain was just hurting and I'm like, I can't do all this. Like, it was just too much trying to figure out the transits and keep up with the other astrologers. And because we're still in this weird competitive model, which I'm trying to get more into the cooperative model, but we're so ingrained in us to be competitive. It's been thousands of years of competition, and now we're moving into this new way of being. And it's hard to make that shift. It's going to take a while to make that shift from, and then YouTube makes you compete with others. It's just the way that
Yes.
it's set up, and then they're all going, we have ebooks and we have this. And I go, God, talk about hustling and grinding. I mean, I can't believe like how much work. And I just realized one day, like, I can't keep up with this and I don't want to keep up with it. Like, I love
Now,
astrology, but I just can't like be busting my butt for, one or two clients of what every year. It's just gotten to the point where it just dropped off, or I used to have clients and then it
Well,
just
and
dropped
I
off.
understand because I would tell you my 63rd year, number one was learning about, I have no idea why people think the way they do. I mean, I knew that, but now I really understand that. And it's one of those things that I definitely have pulled way back in a lot of things because I didn't have the energy for it. And pushing myself to do it was the opposite of what Spirit was asking me to do. And that's
Hmm.
part, I mean, I so enjoyed the Leo retrograde in Mars because about
Hmm.
personal authority, there was something that makes you understand you're enough now. So if you don't feel like doing it the same way, I went to a and then for me, Spirit took away my social media. I've been in this funny loop. And so I'm like, okay. And interestingly enough, where you were in January of this past year is come around again. Whatever that lesson was, is now taking you into these new lessons because of the way the stars have been. And mine was about being in a group where I really wasn't seen for me. I was doing this hustle, doing this thing. And, you know, not only weren't they appreciating it, but I was literally being, um, what would you call that, Joanne? Picked on?
I think the better word would be bullied. You're being
Bullied.
Well,
bullied.
there
Yeah,
you go.
Yeah,
bullied.
and
Mhm.
under a spiritual guise, and that is a caution. I in this period of time, there will be false prophets. There have been false
Oh
prophets,
yeah, I've already
um,
noticed that.
and just like you said, I don't need to compete with another astrologer. I'd rather listen to them, and we come up with our things together.
Mm.
But that's part of the reason. Perhaps yours was Lyme, mine this whole first the bullying and then because I kept saying I don't really feel like doing all this stuff and all of a
Yeah,
sudden one day I went well then don't do it like
exactly.
the permission don't do it oh
Something I've been sharing a lot about on Facebook, doing different lives and whatever not. Couple of things based on what both of you are speaking on is coming away from the hustle and bustle, recognizing that you are enough. And what I mean by recognizing you're enough, one thing I'm doing for 2025 and going forward on is charging for my services and
Hmm.
not giving my services away. And I
That's right.
actually literally was watching a an event about the energy exchange that if you're giving your services away, there's a disbalance to the
Yeah.
energy exchange where there then becomes an energy imbalance, which then creates illness on the
Hmm.
person who's giving their energy away.
Yep.
So for 2025, and I've shared this with many summit hosts because I've been participating in a lot of summits, a lot of podcasts, being because my word of not so much my word of the year, but my intention that I set at a fire ceremony was visibility. And the one thing for most summits, they always say, well, what is your free offering? And I'm like, I don't have a free offering. My free
Hmm.
offering is right here, right now. Just I'm giving you my time here, but if you want to work with me,
Good for
you
you.
have
Yeah.
to work with me. In addition to, again, drawing on the enough part, is I've come to conclusion that, and this is something I learned from a mentor that I didn't work with, I worked alongside with him, is if you are looking to work with large groups, let's say 20, 30 people in classes, workshops, etc., think about the energy that you're exerting out to 30 people at whatever
Hmm.
the price is. And chances are, if you're working with that many people, you're probably offering that particular service at a low price. So the thing he taught me was, if you have 30 people, whatever the price is that you're charging, take that price and triple it. Send out an email to that group, letting them know that when it's time to renew, the new price will be what it is, triple. And think of it this way, because the first, of course, the people in this group, the first thing they were like, well, if I did that, people are going and not going to take it. He says that's the purpose. The purpose is that you're going to raise your rates triple, and you're going to lose some people. The 30 plus people you're working with, not all of them are going to take that new rate. So what you're doing is you're eliminating so you can make more space. And then he then said, after you do that increase of triple, you're going to increase it again because you want to move some people out again. So if you're working with 30 people, you want to move it out. Ideally is you want to have a number. What is your number that you work with? What's your best number? Like most people always hear when I speak of different courses that I teach, my number is 6. And I know that people sit back and say, only 6? That's it. That's my number, 6. That's what I work with. And why? Because I want it to be personalized. I want to be able to really get to know the 6 people that I'm working with for the time frame that I'm working with them. So a year's time, I work with 6 people. And then, of course, I'll do other little things on the side. But even for that matter, for this year, I've even capped that off where, like, when I do astrology readings, I'm doing 10 astrology readings in the course of 1 month. That's it. I'm not doing 20, I'm not doing 30, 10. And then whatever the number is for February, it will be that number. And if the number is lower, then the price is going to go up. And this is how we evaluate and reevaluate our value. What is our time worth as we move into this new energy? So many of us are constantly working on the process of wanting to feel like enough, self-care, self-love. And it really comes down to that process of what are you charging for the services you are offering? Because that's going to set the stage to how you value yourself. If your rates are low, you're letting your peeps know that that's how you value you. Raise your rates, and believe me when I say when you do raise your rates, the right people, and I'm using that word, the right people are going to be attracted to you. And believe me when I say people want you to raise your rates. I literally had someone say to me, I'm so happy you raised your rates. I was waiting for you to raise your rates because I didn't want to take on your service at the rate you were charging. And I was like, why would you not want to do? Because you're undercharging yourself. And I knew your rates were worth so much more. So I waited. And what she ended up doing was she actually paid me more than what my rate was. She said, this is what I'm paying you for this service that you're offering. And I know it's not your rate, but this is what I'm going to pay you. And it was literally double than what I was charging because she said, you're undervaluing your service. And she was someone that valued what I brought to the table. And that's how we have to value ourselves, especially with this energy we're moving into. This is really not about hustling and grinding. This is not about working with large groups of people. This is minimizing the amount of people you work with so they value what you bring to the table. And just as Patricia was saying about the competition that's out there, like, especially I find this with astrologers, personal trainers too. It's like this competition. It's like, oh, you're going to steal my client. No, I'm not going to steal your client. If your client is choosing to come to me, it's because I have something you don't have, which is why your client is coming to me. I have something you don't have. Now you may have to figure out what that client is looking for that you don't have, and then go get the training to get what I have. And I might be the person that you have to train under to get what I have. And that's just how it goes. And I mean, I've worked under different astrologers based on their skills because they have something I didn't have. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to do that so I can have it too. And we cannot be afraid and think, well, this person's going to take my client. There's enough people in the world. And as I always say, every one of us have been ordained to do the work that we're doing. So because we've been ordained, we have agreements. There's a whole bunch of people in your agreement box that is looking to work with you. There's absolutely no way there's competition anyplace. The only competition I have is with me. I'm competing against the person I was yesterday. And believe it or not, as funny as it sounds, I'm competing against the person I was when I was 20. That's who I'm competing against, that 20-year-old. All the things she was capable of doing. And then, of course, the common sense side of me says, oh, hello, you're not 20. Can you compete against just the person you were yesterday? And that's my competition. I'm not competing with anybody else because there's no need to. There's so much. And one of the reasons why I created this platform with for astrologers coming together because each one of us has such a unique flavor of information to bring to the table. There's no way I can give insight the way Kitty gives insight. No way. No way. And there's absolutely no way I can give insight the way Patricia gives insight. No way. And that's a blessing. Because thank God, imagine if I had to take in all that knowledge, my brain would probably explode. So that's the energy we're really moving into, people, and allowing ourselves to really value. And I believe with this Venus Pisces energy, that plays that big
Mhm.
role. And of course, there's this the Mars energy as well, helping us to really move into action or stepping back a little bit so we can really evaluate what are we really bringing to the table? How do I value me? And even though, yes, the calendars change, we celebrated New Year's, but our New Year really takes place when the astrological sign moves into Aries. And that's really where we get to explore and explode who we really are and how we're going to move forward, one foot in front of the other. So there's where I am with this. Kitty, I know you have so much to share. Give it to us.
No, I'm thinking, I, I am in agreement too with what Patricia said. We are moving out of this. What was the word you used, Patricia? See, word find. Um, Consumerism. Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that everything has a price and a value that way. Are something in the age of Aquarius, and I don't even know, I'm just going to kind of channel what I'm hearing. Something in the age of Aquarius will remove this money measurement. And so it will be about how we live our lives and the exchanges we make because money, the physical money is very different sometimes than where I spend my time because there's something I get that has nothing to do with the money. And so, though I've had a resistance around money, um, in this word of acceptance, something in this shift in the visionary quality of Aquarius will shift us about what does that mean? Exchange of time for time, exchange of uh, duty, exchange of money, food. Um, part of the alternative currency, Bitcoin, that was an idea that somehow we get away from the gold standard and how we've set up exchange. And we're moving in this particular country, all three of us are in this country, into a really interesting time where the power of service and government is in direct opposition with the power of money. And who is going, are people qualified because they have a lot of it? And have we made, are we back on the in the Bible, the story of the golden calf while they were bored that they created? So I don't know. I really don't know. Again, this is acceptance and taking time to absorb. What does this mean? And all I can talk about is for me. Not for
Mhm.
Joanne, not for Patricia. What does it mean for me? What is important? Time is important for me right now.
Well, yes.
That that is an exchange of energy for me.
Yes.
Um, and so um, I do think we're shifting. What do you think, Patricia?
Well, I've been kind of thinking a lot about these polarities that are playing out where we have the Aquarius, which was a lot of people are focusing on that Pluto and Aquarius, but we've got all this Aries, Pisces, Aries, Pisces, Aries, Pisces, and we're sort of bouncing back. And of course, Libra, Virgo, Libra, Virgo, Libra, Virgo. And, Aries can be not of service, you know what I mean? Unless it's like an emergency type people, police, that sort of thing, which I guess they're public servants. But there is this, because Aries has a sense to be the I, the me, the identity. And then we have this bigger vision which is more of the Pisces, more of the unifying, the unity consciousness, not just being this one individual up against the world, but this unifying and this spirituality. Because I don't think spiritual awakening is like a selfish thing. I think it's a melding thing. It's a very Piscean, dissolving these barriers, which I guess would be like the ego. And of course, Aries for me rules the ego. So what is this dance that we're going to have in 2025 and into 2026 between, the planet Saturn, especially in Neptune, going in between Pisces and Saturn, then Venus being in Pisces with a retrograde, and then of course the Mars retrograde in Cancer, even though Cancer's totally different, but it's still that more of a service kind of the mother.
And the
So
nodal
we have
axis
these
being
we have
service.
these
Yeah.
energies just sort of playing off each other, like which way are we going to go? And I
Huh.
can see why rest and restoration would be very important as we're ending cycles and beginning new cycles and ending cycles and beginning new cycles. And I've been telling people not to start a business this year because it would be really hard to start something new when Pisces is finishing up old business. And I feel like this is more of a year, like Joanne has said, I think this is a year of healing. I think it is a year of really finding out what it is that we've been sloppy about. And like with me, I found out I have osteoporosis and I was like, oh, great, but what I've been started doing resistance training and started eating more calcium and all these things that I've been very lazy about and making sure I'm getting out and walking up hills and and doing what I can. I mean, Lyme's exhausting, but and then saying, well, I'm going to recover from this disease and getting out of that doldrums that I've been in with that Pisces Virgo energy, really just kind of hammering on me, like you really need to get into shape. You really need to I eat healthy, but to make sure that that I'm getting enough nourishment and all these other things, especially with that Mars and Cancer, I tend to like burn up energy and not eat enough to make up for that energy that I just burned
Well,
up.
and don't you think that part of this visionary energy is what are we going to do with that archetype of the warrior?
Right. Because we
Because
can turn that into the spiritual
right,
warrior.
it be yes, Aries is about self, but self in measurement to what? And it's that warrior, it's dynamic action. How are we going to align that action with
Mhm.
Neptune in Aries? That's very
Right.
different. That's personal accountability with Saturn coming in there too. So, it has not escaped me that we have three guiding principle, larger energy, concept energies that have been in wars. The placements
Hmm.
were wars. And now we
Hmm.
have all three aligned together, and yet the bridge energy is in peace. And it's going back and forth with peace and service. And so
Right.
shifting our archetypes, that is something we have. To me, there's something coming. I love what you're saying because there's something in our ability to do it differently by being aware. And the only way to be aware is to start in the me, which is why
Mhm.
Aries is that is the golden part of Aries. What is it about you can do versus I'm here I come to save the day. No,
Right. Right.
so
Right.
it's that's why it's such a wild, narrow ride we've got coming up, back and forth, back and forth. Reset the karma around this. Take the
Right.
purity of the energy. Reset the karma. Take the purity
Yeah,
of the energy.
I want to circle back to what Patricia was saying regarding um, health and fitness, regarding her particular personal issue she has going on with osteoporosis. When we think about our bodies, and because we are literally in the energy of taking care of our bodies
Mhm.
physically, women over the age of 40, the misconception is when it comes to diet and our bones is to take in more calcium. The reality really
Mhm.
is make sure you're getting your protein up. It's the protein that we need to help maintain the muscle as we're building the muscle to restructure our bodies so we can become stronger in this concept of what we're going through. And something I see because I'm like right in the midst of the industry where There's so many women over the age of 40 who are not strength training. They spend a lot of time walking or doing yoga,
No, I
or
do that.
and they're not creating the what I like to call progressive overload strength training to build up a stronger foundation. So if they are being diagnosed with whatever they're being diagnosed with, they can manage it because their muscles, their body is stronger in this process. And things are going to show up with our bodies. So I have this belief system where when anything's showing up in our body, whatever the symptom is, there's a metaphysical explanation behind.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that I would rather look at the metaphysical explanation than to look at the medical explanation. And reason, when we look at the metaphysical, it allows us the opportunity to tap into our intuition and ask ourselves, what is this symptom teaching me? What is it that I need to know based on this quote unquote diagnosis? And what changes do I need to make so I can become stronger and healthier? And I said this before in regards, and Patricia saying in regards to starting business, that this is not the year to do that. This is
Mhm.
also not the year again to go on strenuous diets. This is really about learning how to establish what foods your body really needs in regards to grounding you, in regards to helping you to like not necessarily clean eating, but eating more foods that is nature based to help you become more aligned
Mhm.
with the energy you're moving into. And a big part of this is really getting to that place of like we are in this place of shedding. We have to review the way we're eating. We're all a different version of ourselves. Katie said it earlier. We went to sleep one night and we woke up in a different country. And because we woke up in a different country, we're waking up in a different body. So that body that we're in now, just because maybe the body we were in December allowed us to have whatever it was we were eating, we're in this new body. It's like I've said, if we think back to 2020 during the pandemic, and we all were blessed to experience it, this is not like, oh, this person got to experience it and this other person didn't. During this time, it gave us an opportunity. Every one of us went into a state of isolation where we had time to quiet ourselves down. And during that time, every one of us experienced a frequency upgrade. Every one of us has moved out of the lower vibration of frequency and we're in a higher frequency. Not every
Mhm.
one of us are conscious of it. But the reality of it is we all have increased our frequency. And because we all have increased our frequency, we have to come out of the mindset and the belief and the conditioning that we've been programmed and taught for the last 50 years about health, fitness, and wellness. I mean, if we really think about what we're being told and what we're hearing about in regards to how do we take care of our body, someone can't tell me how to take care of my body. And I'm not saying that to be vain. You
Mhm.
can't tell me how to take care of my body. My body is going to tell me how to take care of it. My body is going to say, well, this is what's going to work for you because intuitively, it's a matter of checking in, asking, literally asking your body, would this be a good thing for me to have? And then just being open to hearing it as well. And we all have
Mhm.
this intuitive power that we have to start learning to really advocate and think for ourselves. And if we're not, during this 18-month cycle of Pisces and Virgo nodes, we're going to be whipped into shape. And I'm speaking specifically to my ladies over 40. We are going to be whipped into shape. If you are not strength training right now, this is your time to get involved with a strength training program. And what I'm going to put out there is don't go to the YouTube videos and find yourself a workout program. No, you're not going to know if you're doing it correctly. And the last thing you want to do is do it wrong. And you will do it wrong. I have been a personal trainer for many, many years, and I I walk into gyms and I look at people working out. I look at trainers working with their clients, and I'm saying to myself, what are they doing? Why do they have their client doing that? What is the purpose? And then, of course, I have to put my shields on and remind myself, I'm not here for that purpose. I'm here for me to work out. So I just only focus on me. So again, invest in your health and wellness. Hire somebody that's qualifiable to teach you how to take care of your own body. Because this is the time more than now, as we evolve spiritually and as we embody and move more into service of taking care of us. Because when you feel good in your body, you're going to want to show up. You're not going to be absent. You're not going to be absent because you don't feel well. I mean, I have a philosophy, and tonight is proof of it, is that even when you don't feel well, yes, go rest, but you still got to show up. You still have to show up because there's things that we have to do. You have to show up for yourself, and being in a strong, healthy body allows you to do just that. Kitty, go for it.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Oh no, that's not true.
It's 9:29. Um, and
You're at the end. I
we're at
cannot
the
believe
end.
that hour went so quickly. So
I was it's interesting. I think I'm the oldest in this group. I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest in this group. I'm
yes,
64.
yes, you are the
Um,
oldest, Miss Kitty.
and this for me, I guess what I would say in conclusion to this whole Age of Aquarian thing is um, it's an unfolding. All of us have our own litmus test of what we're doing, how we're doing it, what it looks like. And my energy, I don't have to, this word's come up several times today, the word jade. I don't have to justify, argue, defend, or explain what
That's because you're
resonates
how
with
old?
me.
63?
64. Will
64.
you still need me? Will you
Exactly.
still feed me?
I say this to people, to women older than me. When you reach that age, over 60, I have a little ways to go, not much. At that point in time, you get to that place where you just don't give a damn what people are saying or thinking about you. You're just at that place. You've lived your
You
life.
don't have you don't have time.
You don't have time. You don't
You've
have
gone
time
through
to
your Uranus
worry.
return. You've gone through your nodal
Exactly.
return at 63. I mean, or
Now you just have time for
You
joy.
mean Saturn return.
You,
well, you've done your Saturn at the end of 50,
yeah.
but
Uranus is
you've had a nodal
74.
return that happens. You've also had and Uranus, I can't remember what it's called. Um, I love the book by Elizabeth Spring, right? I can see it sitting over there about your final act, the third act,
Yes.
Mhm.
um, and your transits. And, it's a you do you, boo. I
Hmm.
don't have time to do you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if I
Exactly.
pick what I learned in my 63rd year was I'm no longer wasting energy to sit there and listen and try to figure out why somebody else is thinking, because I have no idea anyway. So t take what I like and leave the rest. That's
And what
all I can do.
exactly. And what I'm doing, because I'm not gonna wait till I'm 60 something to take on that attitude. I'm taking that attitude on now at 54. I'm gonna be 55 in March. So that's my thing, is that I can give a
Got a Saturn return coming. Patricia, would you mind sharing how old you are?
60.
You're 60. So you're sitting right between us.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, but I don't care what people think anymore.
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
We have to be in a space of
I haven't for a very, very long time. Now I'm looking at where those other beliefs are in there that were
hmm.
connected to that.
Oh yeah.
That now I go, oh, wait a minute, that goes back to a punishing God. That I'm not enough if I don't. What did I really realize the other day? The belief that I'm not enough if I don't make how somebody else think be okay. Like if I were a good person, it would be okay. I could be more understanding rather than being annoyed as all hell or just disagreeing. And I can be good enough by just being disagreeing. Doesn't mean I gotta fix it. Oh,
Mhm.
so it's rooting some of those things in my beliefs now that have become part of my behavior. You
Yes.
got final words, Patricia?
I was just about to say, if Kitty, can you leave us with one word, and then we're gonna go to Patricia, and then we're gonna end with me. Leave us with one word you want the audience to go with for your day, and
Gonna
not
be all year. Acceptance.
you're gonna give them your word.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
how I'm living my life this year.
okay,
Acceptance.
okay. And Patricia, for you,
Guilt-free.
okay,
It's kind
excellent,
of like acceptance,
excellent,
healing the guilt, the Virgo Pisces. Mhm.
excellent. And why I chose to go last is because I'm gonna pull a card and give everybody some insight to leave tonight with, until, of course, the three of us come back together in February, and hopefully we'll have the fourth person. Yes, I just said that. The fourth person will be with us as well. So again, what we need to know with all this energy, because when we come back in February, we will have some other shifts taking place then, and we'll be talking about those shifts as well. So our card, ah, it's in reverse. So for those of you who don't know what a reverse card means, is two things. We want to pay attention to the message. You may have a little resistance to the message, and you definitely want to work on the color of the card, and the color is the chakra associated. So I'm going to show you the card in reverse. And it's karmic completion.
Mm.
Isn't that perfectly aligned? Because that's exactly what we're experiencing, especially with Saturn getting ready to move out of Pisces, how we are all experiencing a reset. The red is the root, and we've been talking the root the entire time. This is about bringing things back to balance. And what do you need to do to bring more balance back into your life? Balancing out your life, and balance may look very different for every one of us. The one, the one, that is definitely the Aries energy of the I am, because Mars rules Aries energy. It really is, what action can you take? And when I use the word action today, the action is, what action can you take to shift your schedule around so you can literally create rest into your day? Literally create rest into your day. And using that. So grounding and chronic completion. So if you are resisting rest, if you think you got to keep going, like I said earlier, if you don't plan out your rest periods in your day, every day, not just once a week, the universe is going to come in and plan them out for you. And believe me when I say, we do not want the universe coming in to plan out anything for us, because it definitely will not be gentle. So all that being said, we all look forward to seeing you next month.
I
In
want to thank Rebecca for all of her comments. And Rebecca, when you get a like for me on a comment, it says Amy Martin because I have no social media at the moment. So, you know, uh, well, that's the only way I can access my group is through my partner because my partner in Intuition of the Soul, because every time I create an account with my name on it, Facebook shuts it off because my account that was hijacked, they keep saying, "Oh, well, you're breaking community norms." I'm like, "No, that's my name."
Yes. Well, what the universe is doing for Miss Kitty there is they're restructuring her community behind the scenes. So eventually she will be,
That is Pisces North Node, deep behind the scenes. What's the word I wrote when I was writing this down? Robust inner work behind the scenes
yes,
is what Pisces is asking us to do as, with our soul's work.
yes.
And so, what's your North and South Node, Patricia?
Cancer, North Node, and Capricorn South.
Okay. Um, so
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
have a whole
Kitty and
series
I
of
share the same, just in opposites.
Right. And I have a whole series of friends who have the opposite um, that I do. So
Mm.
it's kind of interesting. They're all around the same age. So Um, but I loved the article I read when the author wrote, and for those with a Virgo North Node, yeehaw for this energy. You get the best of it all. You have an understanding of Pisces because you it's your golden shadow, and you're getting all of this new information from Virgo that you're supposed to be learning about anyway. And it's a challenge when you are a Pisces South Node and you're a spiritual person not to want to live in your South Node all the time. You know,
Yeah.
how do I find the beauty in the mundane, in the patterns? And so um, I loved that he wrote, Yeehaw!
Yeah. On that note, ladies, so we don't get caught
No,
up and end up going longer and longer and longer, and I'm sure nobody would mind, but we have to cap it out. We will be back here next month. If you have comments, questions, if you wish to reach any of us, just go ahead and leave comments below here, and you could do just that. We will see you all next month. Have a blessed month and enjoy your time.
namaste.